Shalom. Uh, Tonight we are going to be talking about Sevel. Sevel is emotional pain. And tonight we're going to delve into the parts of our mind that bring about pain, emotional pain. Those haunting insecurities. That's exactly what they are. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how Mr. Piggy likes to sow his seeds of insecurity, and then I'm going to show you how to sow the seeds right next to him. Just like the differences in the stalks and the vines, or the stalks, the difference in the stalks and the weeds. He said just let them grow together. We'll get them at harvest time. We're going to talk about harvest time as well, and the meanings of things and the double meanings of things, metaphors you might not have seen, different things that I, found a bunch of correlations in my research, that make, I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me, and, I don't know, maybe I'll share them. So here we go. First, he sows the seeds of destruction, and he does it very, 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 very carefully. You see, it's in cartoons. It's in just different little bitty things. I mean, it was in The Simpsons a lot. It's in Family Guy. It's in everywhere. So just a little, the little symbols everywhere. These are little things that hit your subconscious mind to get you to accept different things. Well, it's the same way with these insecurities. I mean, just like, you know, let's take a Cosmopolitan magazine, for instance. There's probably something on the cover about maybe 10 ways to have sex with your man and get him into marriage, 15 ways into a body guys want to have sex with, something about Kim Kardashian or the Kardashian family, uh, diets, all kinds of just junk. This kind of things, when you see beautiful women all over the place as actresses and celebrities, oh, I want to be them, I want to be them. When see these people on tabloid magazines and they're in the fitness magazines, look at me, look at me. They got these huge, nice bodies. Well, if you had $1 million and only time to work out and eat healthy and get fed grapes by the slaves, I guess that you would probably have a rockin' body too. But you know what? We're all boiled down to how much emotional pain we have, right? Those people are under total, complete mind control anyway, so it really doesn't matter to them. But their success brings us insecurity. It's idolatry. That's all it is. It just feeds into the idea that my body doesn't look like hers. And those 15 moves, what if I can't even pull off 3 of them? What is he going to want to marry me? Is he ever going to want to marry me? There's dating sites everywhere just to say, hey, man, well, if you don't like her, man, kick her to the curb. You can always get something else. You might have to pay a little child support, but it's all right. It's freedom, right? No, it's not. You're hurting people for absolutely no other reason that you can't even love yourself enough to feel vulnerable enough to let somebody love you. And that's kind of grotesque. But I'm going to tell you that it's not your fault. You didn't come about this person that you are today. You didn't come about that person all on your little lonesome. They indoctrinated you from the time that you were born and got made into being a franchise. Basically, you're like a little corporate franchise in the Social Security. I mean, that's it's just disgusting what they turned the human life and the seed, what they turned it into. I think it's really funny that we got duped and fell for it, to be honest with you. I mean, the whole idea that mankind has to have a common enemy in order to have a civilization is just completely absurd anyway. So anyway, back to Sevel. Emotional pain. He's sowing the seeds of destruction. This guy, he sows them everywhere. These little kids get on, the little kid shows. they get these kids wanting to be these little kids as little kids. It's, I mean, and when they can't because they're not the chosen ones, it breaks their little hearts. The whole idea behind that aspect of it is crazy. Well, then you get these social networks, the social networking sites. I thought gossip was bad when I was in high school. Holy cow, you couldn't pay me to be a teenager these days. No way. I don't even care how much money you had or what my life would change into be if I had to go back there. I wouldn't if I have to do it right now. No way. These you have to understand that the like texting communication, social networking sites, email, these things were to limit the human interaction and communication. Texting communication is only 3%. 3% of actual communication. The rest of it is tone, inflection, body language, eye contact. Which even on the phone you lose some of them, but at least you still have like the sincerity in somebody's voice. You still have the upsettedness in somebody's voice. You still know that person's voice. You still know that person. I mean, you don't get any of that. So what do we replace it with? We replace it with what we see because that's what our subconscious does. It's imagination, it's projections, and it's delusions. We practically live because of this medium, because we hardly have any human interactions. When's the last time you called a business and was able to actually get a hold of somebody after speaking to a computer for 45 minutes, and maybe you were even offered the opportunity to speak to a human being? We cut ourselves out. We don't even, we have self-checkout lines in the grocery store. We don't even want people to swipe our food anymore. I mean, we text each other. How many would-be relationships out there are completely just abandoned and demolished because of one misconstrued text message? Some poor guy sitting on his couch going, "Oh, she could have taken, oh, I know it." Because we don't speak to each other anymore. We don't even really allow each other to get in enough to speak to each other. Arguments are through text messaging. If you finally get on the phone, the relationship's pretty much over by then. We have to understand that these things, the way we take things, just because the way that they're written on a Facebook wall or the way that they're, splashed up on a Twitter page, or in your phone as a text message, it really doesn't matter what it is, but you have to see it for what it is. It's very, very, very minimal contact. So don't go off thinking that this person met something rude when, they might have just met something funny. Is it easier on the soul to just take it as funny and just say, hey, haha? Or is it easier to get all mad about it and spend the next 45 minutes hoping you don't break your phone about it? Emotional pain, we really have to think honestly about really what people say about us and what they say behind your backs. Let them gossip. But what people say about us, really, does it really harm you? We talk about metaphysical energies. When you lie about people, it really does hurt them. But you're the one that can put up a shield. You're the one that has that shield upon you. Faith is a shield against the malefaction, but it is never an excuse to be the malefactor. We don't harm people, we heal people. We heal people with the seeds of love. Ani, what is it? Ani Zerah L'ahavah. I am the seed of love. We are all seeds. Everything is a seed. You know that the word seed is the most used by an exponential rate. It's the most used word in the Bible because that's what everything is. Everything is a seed. Everything grows from a seed. Every thought grows from a seed. Every plant grows from a seed. Every business plan grows from a thought that grew from a thought seed. We sow the seeds of love. We just drop little tidbit seeds of love everywhere, man. That's what we do. That's what faith tells us to do. We just watch them grow. Our words are little seeds, little tidbit seeds, little love seeds. We can drop them everywhere. They don't have to ever be harsh words, because that causes Sevel, emotional pain. That's what we're trying to heal. Because we are not the Sevel in our lives. We are not the insecurities in our lives. That's been spoon fed to us constantly. Beautiful people thrown in your face constantly. You're not beautiful. Not everyone is beautiful. You know what I mean? I've been a skinny little white guy my whole life. I look like I'm walking around on a chicken. Not everybody is the situation. It's okay, because we are never the flesh anyhow. We are only the energy inside us, the soul inside us. We're put here for the education it provides and nothing more. Our little infant spirits are put here to endure pain and anguish of our brothers and sisters, and to endure sin, but to repent from it. If you finally can repent from it and wipe them clean, the harvest, out of your brain, then you've gotten the point. You've gotten agape. You are not the pain that has been spoon-fed to you. Those people, what they say about you and what they say behind your backs, those people are not necessarily those people either. You're not you. They're not those people. They're these little insecurities that are rattling around inside their head. A drop of water on the forehead eventually stains. That's exactly what that means. Anything. It's a little seed that just goes, it gets into your head, it festers in the subconscious, and then you're thinking about it. But you don't necessarily know you're thinking about it, but you are. Because it's just like, why you're bringing up old stuff, that kind of thing. You're still thinking about it. Any woman can tell you that they're always, if a man cheats on a woman, which is, don't even get me started, but if a man cheats on a woman, she's always thinking about it. She's always thinking about it, because that's an ultimate betrayal. You can't affect a soul like that without total and complete repentance and I guess full on sowing the seeds of love and trust back, man. You can't survive without sowing seeds. That's all there is to it. You're trying to get a job, you go and try to talk to the guy that, is going to give you the job. You're trying to sell them on it. That's sowing seeds. It's the same difference. Half the people I know wouldn't even bet $20 on the lottery, even though it's like 400 million. That would rebuild Haiti. How dumb we are. It, they wouldn't even bet $20 on a football game or a lotto ticket, but they'll bet their soul that they can just be an ass. That doesn't make any sense to me. But, they're sowing their own seeds. They're sowing their own seeds of destruction by the choices they make. You can tell them all day long that, hey, man, you don't have to feel this way about yourself, man, because you're really not your biceps. You're not your biceps. You're not you're not your soccer thighs. You're not any of that junk. You're not, the jeans you wear. You're none of that stupid crap. Just like in Fight Club, he says, you're not your khakis. You're not. Your string bean couch patterns and, coffee tables in the shape of yin yang patterns. Everything, just like the consumerism, it's all fed to you like, hey, this is what you need to buy, this is why you need to buy it, and people are like, okay. You can actually convince pretty much any American of just about anything. All you have to say is, well, a new study shows that, then you got them. Bam, they're like, really? Awesome, man, that's cool. Yeah, a new study showed that going 100 miles an hour and hitting a brick wall, if you really just close your eyes and act okay, you're probably going to live through it without a scratch. Yeah, theory. Come on, you got to be smarter than the edge of a sword. Seriously, people, if you see the deception and you know that it isn't you, that's making these things, these YOLO things. But if you hear these people saying it all the time and planting this YOLO propaganda to just do whatever the heck you want because you only can do it once, like crap, then if you hear them say it, then it's obviously sinking in. So do something about it. It's the insecurity stuff that they're putting in. They're getting in, and that is just plain delusions of grandeur. You can just do whatever you want. I was talking about it yesterday. Every choice we make affects somebody. Doesn't matter who it is. Every single little bitty choice that we make that we only think it affects our lives really truly affects the entire tribe. I mean, everything in this world is a seed. That's why the Bible uses it so many times throughout it. You know, even our bloodlines, even our family trees came from seeds. He gave us Adam. He gave us Abraham. He gave us Yitzchak. He gave us Yaakov. These are all trees, and it all comes from a seed. We are all one because we all came from the same seed. We are all part of the same tree. What we do does affect everyone else. It causes Sevel everywhere. I was reading into a little Yeshayahu, and it even says in there that men will come down from the north, pretty much take over things. They will carry bow and sword, and they'll be ruthless, basically, merciless, have no compassion, just wreak havoc all over the place. And it even says, that they will spread terror everywhere. Now let's think about the absolution of the word everywhere. That means every spectrum of the lexicon, everything we look at, he's going to be spreading it everywhere. The reptilian eye in the bell of Taco Bell. They're going to be spreading these little things everywhere. So you got to be aware of them. And if you're aware of them, then you yourself can constantly be Ani Zerah L'ahavah. I am the seed of love. You are the seed. I am the seed. Right there. Boom. I am the seed. That's what we are. Every one of us is a seed. Every day we are new seeds. That's what's so cool about being created. We do have a purpose, and it's sowing seeds. But you can constantly cause yourself strife by sowing seeds of sin. You can constantly cause yourself anguish, in your life by sowing seeds of hatred. You can constantly cause anguish in your life and rage in your life by sowing seeds of hatred. These things are dumb, man. Why do we immediately, expect the bad to happen constantly, to a point where we make ourselves upset about things that probably aren't even going to happen? You're causing yourself Sevel, emotional pain. I mean, I've been through the ringer. I I know everybody's going to start digging into my past. I'm an open book, man. I really don't care anymore. Um, I've been through some serious stuff. By 35, I know some things, experienced some things. I've read a lot of things. Um, I've come to understand a lot of things, and you know that whole concept of time now. But we've all had our problems. We've all been through our Sevel. Well, Tershuva. It's time for full repentance of it. It's what liberty really is. Freedom from the junk. Freedom from the gossip because you just don't care. The only thing that matters is sowing seeds of love. Everywhere you go, sowing seeds of servitude. That love in itself, man, I love the word love because love can carry so many forms. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I mean, you can find the love in anything. Love is so maximus in its word power. It could be an action, it could be a verb, or a verb. It could be a noun. It could be anything you want it to be. If it comes from that solid part of the heart that is you, then it could be anything. You can say anything is love. If it lifts someone up out of the water, then do it. If it helps somebody, get through something, then do it. People are going to be ignorant. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's always between you and God anyway, in the end. So sow them seeds. We do tshuva against the Sevel. We get away from it. We expand our way past it. We learn to see past it, see it for coming, and become able to dodge it almost. See it coming, and what really when people say little things while you're in a conversation, and people say little things that they really think is going to upset you, and they really want it to upset you because they think they have the upper hand in the conversation, just smile. One, it makes them really think what are they up to, but who cares? Let them throw their little missiles at us. You know what I'm saying? Their little gifts of words, their little gifts of insecurity, and their little gifts of projections of anger and lostness. You don't have to receive them. So a gift unreceived is still in the hands of the giver. It's still their insecurity. Don't hold on to that. Move on and sow some seeds, man. Let them have their insecurity, and just tell them, you love them. That's it. That's all you have to do, really. But it doesn't matter what they say. Just sow the seed so that they think about it. Sow the seed as a thought pattern so that they think about it. Because that's what the enemy does to you. That's what the enemy does to you constantly through all of these movies and everything else. They're constantly sowing these little seeds of fear, constant fear, ever molded. But remember here, the napkin is folded. Every seed that you sow, it doesn't matter, because you can even be as small as the mustard seed, he tells us, as tiny as this little bitty mustard seed, but it grows into this mighty tree. And the mustard seed really is an acquired seed. It's really not a very much liked plant. The taste is tart and sour, and it's kind of an acquired taste. Not everybody likes mustard, but it still grows into a tree that birds can nest in, man can rest under in shade, and children can swing from its branches. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Everything grows. But why keep sowing the seeds of hate? Teshuvah. Away from it. Let's get away from it. Let's sow them seeds, just like I said in Zerah. Let's sow them seeds across this nation of love and servitude. Let's help people everywhere. You don't have to help people monetarily all the time. Well, I don't have enough money to help people. Well, if you're close enough to help somebody, then help them. If you have the gas money to get there and help them, I'm sure at some point somebody might have some gas money to help you get back. I don't know. Have faith. Something will happen. If you do the right thing, something right will happen. It's just the sowing the seeds. They all intertwine together. They all come together. Just like in the end, everyone will be called back to Israel, and the seed will come back together. This whole pain idea, this whole idea that we're going through so much pain. My sister, bless her, always telling me about, kids all the time saying that they're starving, after her testimony in, you know, of being in Haiti, you know, well, I mean, how can we honestly say that? That's nuts. We probably throw away more food than these people see in a year, in a month. I mean, who, I don't know. It really aggravates me because who says who gets what? I don't know. And that's, I mean, I know who it is because I researched it. I'm asking you. Can you come and tell me? You know, uh, the whole idea of what we believe. No, that's not what we believe. That's only the conclusion we have reached at the point of our research. That's it. You know, um, uh, because you got to, if you stop having a thirst for truth just because you were saved, then you're really not saved. I mean, come on, we got to face the facts, call a spade a spade. If you don't have a thirst for the truth constantly, if it's not delved deep within you, it's written on your heart, it says in there. If you're not seeking for the understanding of it, then, what are you saved from? You're honestly not saved from yourself, because even after you say you're saved, you're still causing yourself strife, sowing the seeds of hate and resentment and bitterness and superiority and arrogance. I mean, what does that accomplish? Those weeds grow up amongst the vineyard and cause sour grapes, brothers and sisters. Let's react in an intellectual way here. There's many, many, many forms of seeds and love, but the two combinations can never go wrong. Either separate or apart. Sow them seeds. Talk to people. You don't have to be arrogant or superior or nothing about it. Just sow them seeds. Gotta do the rest, man. I've seen it happen. I've watched it happen. I've witnessed it. That's what made me want to say this. All that strife and all that crap that we've been through in our lives, no matter how old we are. I mean, I know some 19-year-olds that have been through more than, most retirees that I know. I mean, it's crazy the times that we live in, but we have to see it for what it is. We have to see the deception for what it is. We have to see the evil for what it is. This time no longer. I mean, I see it all over Facebook. There is a huge, huge, huge youth movement back to Christ, and I love it. I love every bit of it. They have a thirst for the truth, but half of them are lost at being saved. The other ones are still coming at me with questions, still asking questions everywhere. I see it and I love it. Because anytime a question is answered, a seed has been sown. You see, if we're speaking truth constantly, what is pain? What is work when it is love? What is sacrifice when we are nothing? We are the tips of the branches. We're the tips of the trees. Yes, we're the littlest part, but guess what, man? I mean, the tips of the trees keep growing, and they're the ones that decide which direction it goes. So which direction are we going to go? We're going to go to play the victim constantly? I did for a long time, and that's why I can say that. I had my fingers pointed at everybody. Uh, you know, and a lot of people did some ignorant stuff to me, but I guess it all kind of evens out karmatically. Uh, you know, uh, just a little side note here: forgiveness does not, uh, forgiveness does not stifle the karmatic flow. It only ignites it. These people's theories behind that are just absolutely I don't even get it. Their logic is not even sound. Spock would laugh at them. I know he would. That's just preposterous. But anyway, these little sown seeds that are sown, these destructive seeds of insecurities. That's what I really wanted to get down into. You don't have to be the gossip when somebody says something. But see, here's the thing. Integrity. Integrity is a great seed, because if you're constantly doing the right thing and you're constantly speaking the truth, then no matter what anyone says about you, eventually those seeds will die off. Those seeds of insecurities of these people will die off because of integrity. Other people that know you know that whatever they're saying is just blatant, jealousy, it's envy, or whatever it is, to be honest with you. Maybe they hate God, so they're going to take it out on you. Whatever it is, it really doesn't matter. But if you're constantly doing the right thing and you're constantly sowing the seeds of love and truth, then whatever they say will brush off you. Like, when you're riding a bike, okay, say you're riding a bike down a hill, and you got to imagine, like, those are air molecules. Those are like trillions and trillions and trillions of air molecules as you're like darting down this hill and like getting faster and faster. Those air molecules are hitting you harder and harder. It's trillions of them. Those little words, those little seeds that they try to sow, are those little air molecules. They just bounce off you. It really doesn't matter, because in your heart that whatever they say is junk. And what do? We dust off our feet. Dust off those particles from your feet. The little gifts they're trying to live and give you. Don't let them give them to you. Just be wiser than the serpent. He says we'll do greater things than him, so why not? Who's to say that we couldn't be wiser than the serpent? I mean, we deal with these emotional pains every day because they rattle around in our subconscious. Well, the harvest, like right now is the harvest. Bethlehem, that's the house of bread, the house of the harvest. That's one of the things that makes that whole line of the stories, the whole spectrums of stories that they concocted out of it, is and that's kind of like the double meaning of the metaphor of it is, the he was born of a virgin. The virgin is also the house of bread. It's time to take all those insecurities right now, today, tomorrow. It's time to take every bit of them and wipe yourself clean of them. Teshuvah, Rosh Hashanah. Dig for them and get them out. It's time for the harvest. You just get them out. And be love. Be the seed of love. When Ani Zerah L'ahavah. Be it. Be the mustard seed. Be the tiniest seed. Be the biggest seed. But be smart enough to know when to sow the seed. Be intelligent in the way that you handle people, in the way that you care for them. Think about your compassion for them. Think about what you would want them to do for you if you were in the same position, because I've been homeless and I had a guy hand me $20, and I knew him. He was a dad through a guy, in my union, and he was actually part of the whole union and thing. And he came up to me and handed me $20, and I've been there. And I've been the guy that was digging, half-smoked cigarettes out of the, sand things in front of stores because I didn't have no money to buy cigarettes. I was that guy. I know what it's like to be on that side of the coin. And, if it was me, I would have done anything for just one small push into a different path. And that guy helped me, with $20. I can't remember exactly what I spent it on, but I'm sure a little bit had to do with some beer. But I mean, it is what it is. We all walk our path to learn our path. That is the point of walking it. We're here to observe it. We're here to learn from it and move on. This is the dream when we wake up, is when we die. That is, if you come to understand it, like Timothy says. You know, in Yeshayahu, he says that Adonai tells us that we've come to reject the Torah. And, he's pretty ticked off about it. There's too many sour grapes among the vineyard. You know, I don't know exactly what to tell you, but the only cool thing about being a sour grape in the vineyard is that you're not destined to anything but your own choices. You're only destined to your own free will. You're the one who makes the choice. Am I going to suffer these emotional pains of what, anybody has done to me? Am I, my best friend, looked into my messages and saw that I like a guy and then went and messaged that guy? Or, I mean, come on, the ignorant, stupid little kiddie things that we do to each other. And that little scenario I was brought to mind because it's actually happening to a friend of mine, and that friend is actually almost 30 years old. And it's like, thank God we didn't have texting when I was in high school, because I think it would have just about ruined everything. Everything I picked up or learned anyway. You see how I want to put this. We bury ourselves down in the Sevel. We bury ourselves down into it because we dig down into our, our ego, to circumvent these obstacles in our lives, to equal out the Sevel. That's what causes a lot of us to be bipolar. You're not bipolar. What you are is, you're a child. You're a child of God, man. You're part of the Indigo Children Brigade. Nobody's bipolar. You're just emotional. You just feel your emotions harder. They say that bipolars don't feel any emotions at all. That is utter crap. We feel I've been labeled bipolar before, and I found the solution was to feed my mind, which inherently feeds my soul. That's what I found the solution to be. To know, that these little things that were, making me more emotional were just attacks. They were purposeful attacks, propaganda attacks upon me to cause me to be, I guess, fearful, to cause me to be, you know, uh, fearful that people might hurt me all the time, anxious, like, I didn't want to let people in kind of deal, but just because we're emotional doesn't mean that we're bipolar and no pill can fix it. You just have to understand of who you are. Fill every bit of their attacks of insecurity with love, and you'll never need another pill again in your life. That's it. I can't even. They had me on like $500 worth of medication per month, and that was after my prescription drug care coverage. Um, that's a Mercedes car payment. You know what I'm saying? That did nothing but make me piss myself and everything else. So, really, you know, I mean, I found my solace in books. Not everybody's going to do that. We all have our own little paths, but I found that shedding myself of all, myself, going all this stuff, I found that, shedding myself of all of this crap, these seeds of hatred and insecurity and, molestation of innocence, I just decided to harvest them all and throw them out, I kept everything else I learned through, the process. I busheled all the I busheled all the bad stuff together and harvested it and burned the bad and kept the good. You see, everything I've read, there's been a lot of crap. There's been a lot of lies. But you gotta be smart enough to see through the lies. You gotta be see through all the nonsense. Really, they dumb everything down to the point where, I mean, if you really took the time to read it, you'd get it. It'd just take you a second. There's a lot of mumbo jumbo jargon, and there's a lot of circle speech in a lot of their political stuff, but it's really not that difficult to understand. It's really not that difficult to decipher. But I mean, Bible speech, hidden meanings. Uh, they tried, like, especially with the King James version, they tried to trump up all the words and make them get big, high, like high, standards of these words. They're all high and big and mighty, and look at our arrogance. When people back then pretty much talked like they do now. It was just regular communication, but it was just respectful, God-loving communication. Period. We we don't even speak English here in America. We speak slang, Americanized English. I mean, it's the same all over the world where it gets spread. You know, which all like all the languages of the world today actually spread from three, and they're actually all the languages of Noah's sons. Imagine that. So we have dumbed down the languages to the point where we can't even finish typing out the words on Facebook or texting, which is only 3% of the texting communication, and now that's all scrambled. So imagine our mental fortitude to that. We get lost in the idea that everything is all about us. My girlfriend posts these little things, and I have too, and it's really quite funny. But I'll post these things that I'll see a collection of people, an amalgamation of people doing it, and I'll kind of just throw up a post, planting a seed. And then I'll get messages as like, you could have messaged me. And I said, well, I'm not singling anybody out, bro. I mean, that's not what I aim to do. Just sow the seed. You know what I mean? Quietly delete it off and just know it. It's between you and God anyway. It's not between you and me, you know? But, we don't have to sow the seeds in hatred, and pointing fingers, you know? We don't have to do it that way, man. It's just, it leads to nothing but destruction. It really does. Arguments and whatnot. Don't argue. Just love, bogged down by insecurities that we're not good enough or ever going to be good enough. Well, define success, because I know some pretty happy, unsuccessful people. Right now I'm laid off and I'm one of them. I'm, I feel like the richest man in the world, and I'm just about as poor as any man could be with a roof over his head in America. You know, but even still, what I am enduring right now, it really doesn't matter. I know that my brothers and sisters in other parts of the world are enduring a heck of a lot more than me. War, famine, dehydration, no water to clean yourselves, no water to even drink, nothing. I mean, it's just, I don't get it. It's trillions of dollars on war. It would take $30 million to rebuild Haiti with schools, to be able to teach those people how to govern themselves. $30 million, but yet we've got enough money to bomb innocent kids. What are we doing? That makes no sense to me. The logic is not sound. We do it for money. Money, money, money. Money, mammon. Money, mammon. If you're praying to God for money, really, you're praying to the wrong God. Praying for seeds of wisdom and truth and love. This flesh, we're one little bitty grain of sand on every beach, on every planet in the universe, and the universe is infinite, and He has a place for everyone in the universe. quantumly. We we sow the seeds of our own lives with our choices. I love the word seed too, just like love, because it can be used in so many different ways. You know, just like I had explained about the teenage and the decision to not wear a condom in that split second. Those are little seeds that we plant in our own lives. You know, well, those little things rattling around in your head, those other seeds that are planted, you can harvest them out. You're the only one with the control to pull them out. Like Harry Potter, I guess, pulling that little memory out. Just pluck it right out of there. You know what I mean? Mikvah. Mikvah yourself. Teshuvah. You know? Uh, ask for them to just be completely removed, and that you only know wisdom and love. For the end is near. Uh, and the daughter of Zion has left. We are nowhere near ready at all. We're still so argumentative about everything. We're so wanting to prove to everyone else that we know so much. I mean, upon my research, I found myself doing the same thing. You know what I mean? I wanted to blab what I had just figured out. I mean, we all get excited about it. That seek of the truth, that's the joy of the Lord, man. The more you feel it, the more you seek it. That's just all there is to it. I get it. I really do, but we don't have to be arrogant about it. We take other people's ideas and we give them the counterpoints, and that's it. Sow those seeds of love. You know, uh, I have a hard time letting people continue when I know that they're kind of, askew a little bit. Um, but it is what it is. We're all walking our own little path, learning our own little things here and there. You know what I mean? Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does the wrong thing. You know, um, but you can't let it get to a point where lives are getting cost. Um, at what end do we draw the line of letting other things control us, especially seeds that we know they're sowing, seeds of sexuality, seeds of sexual insecurity, seeds of, just about sex everything, you know, uh, like, who's to say we can't just stop it? I mean, I guess everybody always says, I'm gonna someday. Well, some days come. Let's just try it. Point it out for what it is and sow those seeds of love. Get out there and get away from who you thought you were, wrapped in all those insecurities, wrapped in all those things, the sexual insecurities, wrapped in all those, things that you thought you were, wrapped in all your tennis shoes, wrapped in all your cool gear, your pimped out rides. I mean, not too long ago, you know, I was still trying to live in the flesh a little bit, and I bought myself a Jaguar, an old Jaguar, for a couple of grand, and I was gonna fix it up. And I even actually said to my friend, who's recently come back into my acquaintance, I actually said to my friend, this will be the exact ego boost that I need to get me back into the game. And I look back upon that. I look back upon that little seed I planted in my head back then, and I think, you know, what what arrogance to think that I needed it. Pluck it right out of there and throw it away. Um, right now I'm trying to sell it. Uh, Hopefully get enough money to where I can, get some things paid for, and get a whole bunch of people downtown fed. We'll see what happens. Adonai permits, he'll provide. If we plant the seeds, he'll let them grow. A seed planted in the heart takes takes root in the soul, okay? And it needs the sun to grow, you know? It needs all the love cresting over the horizon to warm us, you know? Adonai gives us the strength to put up a body shield, almost like, those G.I. Joe shields where they're jumping and twisting, and like enhances what? It enhances your body. Well, you know what? Like, the faith shield kind of does enhance your body, because everything that anybody ever tries to throw at you, including knives and bullets, doesn't matter. Never harming a hair on your head. Have faith. This flesh is nothing. Let's just start serving our fellow man until every man has felt the love of the creation. The Barit Haolam. We have to have an understanding that, everything is grown from a seed. Everything is coming back together. You see, at the top, let's say you got seeds planted down at the bottom of a forest, and they grow up, and the trunks of the trees are out separated, and then the branches come a little closer, and then the leaves, and then over the years they start to intertwine. You see, right now we are at the point where those branches are starting to intertwine, and it's hedge trimming time. We think that we're so arrogant to think that we always have enough time, but who created time? He's the one that says when what goes. Do you want to live your life? I guess this is a really simple question. Do you want to live your life continuing to constantly be wrapped up in here, or do you want to live in here? Easy question. Can you abandon your intellect? Can you abandon your place of argument with people, your place of, well, they did this to me, so I'm going to do this, and then we'll just be even, because, an eye for an eye. Well, two wrongs don't make a right. And it especially doesn't fix the system. It doesn't heal the situation. That's what we're supposed to do. If we're believers, then we're supposed to heal any and all situation. Be humble. Be as the mustard seed, the tiniest little bitty seed. The not very liked seed. You don't have to, like, we see, I guess, the constant ever flowing of things born into us. Sometimes I feel the metaphysical energies. I'll get, I guess, annoyed out of nowhere for no reason. And I think that's, it's energy we feel because it's energy we are. Those little, they say you can cut the tension in the room with a knife. Well, that's kind of true. If you can fill up a room, you can feel it when you walk in. We've all felt that, that walking on eggshells kind of feeling. Um, Shalom is that feeling. So we start sending out metaphysical seeds as well, the feelings of peace and love. So if you're a guy in a nightclub, you will do and say anything to be approachable by women and to be able to approach women. Well, why can't you be? And we all know what the ulterior motive is half the time anyway, right? So, Instead of having that perception, why can't we be the flip of the spectrum in the lexicon? Why can't we, you constantly know what we're doing and how we're acting in order to heal situations, in order to heal uh, problems in society, in order to heal, like the great problem, in Haiti and Syria, you know, um, these, I mean, there's tons of other places too, I mean, these other places have great problems too. We have a lot, I mean, we can't even, it's funny because, I mean, if we would just leave Syria alone, they would be fine and the whole thing would be squashed in a matter of moments. But that's not profitable. Um, if you know we want to spend billions and trillions of dollars, we want to give Syria all this money um, to aid them, but we can't even rebuild Detroit, one of America's once largest metropolises, millions of people, and now it's down to like, I don't even know. It's incredibly gross. Half the city, I mean, 2/3 of the city, I think, is what they said was abandoned. I mean, what are we doing? We got all this money feeding the war machine. Wake up. You know, we sow the seeds of love and let those seeds fester. Then eventually, those people that were, you know, drawn in by the seeds of destruction in, you know, cheering on our, you know, masquerade across the Middle East, um, then, you know, if we sow the seeds in their heads and they start thinking about it, we sow those seeds of love and start drawing them into the idea that, this is wrong. These things are wrong. Everything, all these things are wrong. So if we start drawing them into that idea, you know, just by planting little seeds with unarrogant lips and, you know, cooled tongues, then, eventually they'll see it and eventually they'll vote it for it to stop. And this incredible youth movement towards Christ, I love it. You know, in order to stop a war that an entire generation would have to boycott the military, don't let them plant their little seeds of patriotism. You know what patriotism really is? What it all boils down to it? Patriotism itself is, my land is better than your land because I was born here. Well, who are you? Who am I? You know, no one has a choice as to where they're born. The guilt of the luck of the draw. That's, come on, man. That is completely illogical. Uh, you know, to think these, I'm trying to use my words very wisely because I know that people are going to heavily scrutinize them. And I'm sure that they'll call me insane and all kinds of other stuff. I really honestly don't care. I'm tired of it. I've had enough. Haven't you had enough? Haven't you had enough of crying over nothing, over an argument that didn't even happen that you think did? I mean, aren't you, haven't you had enough of the news constantly flooding, you with manipulative things? They always give the two ends of the spectrum, but they never give the gray area. They don't want you to have the gray area. They want you to have two ways of thinking and pick one, to side you up. You know, haven't we had enough of being manipulated? Haven't we had enough of, you know, babies' mamas and baby daddies? You know, haven't we had enough of of separation, of discourse, hatred, intolerance? Haven't we had enough of murder and famine, you know, drought? Haven't we had enough? I know I have. It's the only reason why I'm making these videos. I want people to get an understanding of this universe, of the creation. Man, it is so complex that our creator uses complexity to build upon complexity, and uses that complexity to flip that complexity, to make more complexity, to make more complexity, to make more it. He uses it all, but it is all seed born. From every moment on, it is all seed born. The only way we're born is because of two seeds conjoining. Right? The seeds of love. At least that's what it was meant to be before, it got completely like corrupted. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've fallen into that. I used to go to strip clubs. I used to date strippers. I used to date models. I was wrapped up in it too. You know, we all have our paths. That's just part of it, man. We're all sinners. That's all part of it. It's learning. The choices we make, the seeds we've sown in our own lives that cause us the most strife and rattle around up here forever. The unwillingness to forgive somebody because, they stole your G.I. Joe when you were 4. The silly little things that we refuse to, forgive people for is just astounding when we really truly think about what we are in this life and what we are meant to be in the next. It's meaningless. It's trivial. We are more intelligent than that, or we can be. It. Let's just leave it at this point today that, Sevel is not the end of the world. Our emotional pain is only the beginning of knowledge. The fear of the Lord is only the beginning of knowledge. The fear, the narrow path, the welcomingness of love. Because I don't fear anything. Not of him, not really anymore. Because I'm obedient to his will. I obey his commandments. I'm going to. It's not that it's not, I enjoy it. I enjoy every bit of it. I enjoyed Rosh Hashanah and digging into myself and harvesting these insecurities and getting them out of my head. Because now it's like, it really doesn't matter, matter what conversation I'm having, it's always from the heart. It's always from my conscience. What I'm saying right now is always from my heart, every word of it. I only say these things because they're inside me and I feel I have to. And I think about it all the time, about saying, not saying them, but something inside me just tells me, you know what? Just say it. I get shaky. When I write songs, I get the same way, and I kind of get on machine mode, but, teshuva. Get away from it all. Total freedom is not having those insecurities in your head to haunt you, not having those fears in your head to haunt you. Don't worry about it. What does worry get you? Nothing but seeds of destruction. So we know that they're trying to sow their little insecurity seeds, and we know that we are capable of harvesting them. And we know that we can be the seeds of love. We can be it. Ani Zerah L'ahavah. Be the seed. I am the seed. I am the seed. But the only seed I want to be here and in here and everywhere is the seed of love and truth. Seek the truth. Get it all out of you, man. Write it all out in a notebook if you have to. It worked for me. You know, that's one of the things that helped me see just how out of control I really was. What I did, as I had to write it all out on pieces of paper, and I was actually in jail when I wrote mine. Um, in this little bitty in this little bitty pod. It was only 6 cells. Um, I was there for 60 days, and I had to write this thing, um, and my life story, and that's one of the things that really helped me really envision myself when I had to read it out loud to the whole group was how out of control I really was. And then I had to do it again in Bridgeway, which drug court's going to be another thing that we're going to talk about some other day. Uh, but today, the whole topic was pain. The whole topic was emotional pain. The whole topic was Sevel. You know, we do not have to be that. Be the seed. Be the seed of love. Ani Zerah L'ahavah. Shalom.